Good evening. This is a de facto review with me, Jargal Tampadarja. I'm doing this review from Washington, D.C., the capital city of the United States of America. And topics we have tonight, two topics. First, about the Mongolian Prime Minister's official visit to the USA, trying to cover all events happened. And the second, about the air transportation agreement between two countries. So that's the two topics I would like to share my thoughts tonight. Let's go to the first one. Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene is visiting the US by the invitation of the Deputy Vice President Kamala Harris. This is a 10th Prime Minister visit of Mongolia, but this one is quite specific. It has a certain special feature. Why? Because first time the Prime Minister of Mongolia is meeting not only the political leader of the country. By the way, President Biden is on holiday this week due to many other reasons, I understand. And so Kamala Harris, Vice President, had received the Prime Minister of Mongolia. So I said quite special because the Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene had meet 5 ministers of the cabinet in our language. In the US, it's a secretary of certain departments, 5 departments actually. So one by one. First, about the Kamala Harris statement. Turned out they make a statement before their negotiations. Then to the press themselves, they talk about what are they going to discuss. Then the negotiations happens. Then after negotiations, there are official written statement, which, by the way, you can see on the White House website. Vice President called Mongolia as a reliable democracy and a friend in the Indo-Pacific for more than 3 decades. Mongolia is now regarded as like whole India-Pacific Ocean, one of the peace mecca in the region, not only in the region in terms of Mongolia, because we send peacekeeping forces to conflicted areas, to Middle East, to Africa, etc. Prime Minister talked about the oasis of being Mongolia, oasis of democracy, which is not that easy work. And we are happy to be called by Americans like this. And you can see also that in the statement, we used to call it strategic partnership. By the way, a strategic partnership Mongolia has with 6 countries. The 5th is USA, including 2 of our neighbors with whom we have a comprehensive strategic partnership. Mongolian Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene highlighted about the cooperation of 2 countries, many aspects of it, and he said that Mongolia is happy to be called by the United States as the oasis of democracy. And he had also mentioned about the landlocked country, the country's issue, logistical issue, which is challenging. And the strategic partnership of 2 countries is called from now strategic third neighbor partnership. That's the terminology now we keep using from now on. As Mongolia has with this strategic partnership with 6 countries, first of all, our 2 neighbors, we have comprehensive strategic partnership status. And with the US now, that strategic third neighbor partnership. Mongolian Prime Minister had visited several ministries, including Department of Defense, the Secretary Lloyd Austin, Department of Transport, Pete Buttigieg, with whom they have signed that airlines agreement, and also Department of Trade, State Department, USIDF, USAID, US Exim Bank, NASA Earth Information Center, which recently inaugurated, and Google company. Very shortly about, for example, the other visit was to a called MITRE. It's a research center. It's a non-governmental organization, but mostly doing a lot risk calculation or risk management for strategy by the request of the government. What is the probability of the natural disaster, where and how, what is the best way of handling with these issues. At the Department of Defense, it was met with the old ceremony, march of soldiers, music, which was the highest level reception of this ministry, and the main topic was about the strengthening of Mongolian peacekeeping capability. As we know, Mongolia is probably per capita largest amount of soldiers, peacekeepers in the world. So in that regard, some technical assistance will be. It was always this technical assistance, but this time they will increase with a particular type of weapons. USAID, Samantha Power, the head of this USAID, and the USAID is one of the key players in assisting Mongolia by the developed nations. State Department, Antony Blinken, Secretary, they meet and they sign about the next stage of our partnership and cooperation of two countries. There's US Exim Bank and NASA Earth Information Center too, where the main purpose of this center is how to make better life people in the face of disasters, environmental challenges, in our changing world. And it has a virtual reality which can represent the actual, as much as actual reality, and the way how to deal better in their circumstances. So that this is a short list of events, meetings that Prime Minister and his delegation had made in the capital city of the United States of America.
Since 1990, there are some 335 companies, American companies or joint venture, are registered in Mongolia. Total, their investment is about 1.5 billion US dollar. And the 1/3 of this money is invested in the mining sector. Mongolia has not borrowed money from the US, but through the government of the US, Mongolia got the assistance of $885 million since 1992. And this assistance includes two compacts, substantial two projects, important, essential for, and particularly the second one for Ulaanbaatar water, drinking water supply. So we receive tourists from the US, some 14,000 tourists a year around. Also, according to their internal Department of Internal Affairs, according to their statistics, we have some 43,000 Mongolians living in the USA now. One of the important subject of this visit, of meetings during this visits, were about the English language, which will be taught throughout the country from the secondary school. And there will be 1,000 teachers of English will be trained in the US, and there will be more English teachers coming to Mongolia. This is our first topic, and it's about the visit, official visit of the Prime Minister Oyun-Erdene to the USA. Our second topic will be more detailed, more specific, and I'm going to talk about the air transportation agreement between two countries, which otherwise also called open skies. That means the government will be less intervened into air transportation between two countries as soon as this agreement is signed, because any airline from two sides, both, can fly as soon as they meet the safety and security standard of each other. The United States has done it for many countries in the world. Total 130 countries in the world has that agreement, with open skies agreement with the United States of America. Mongolia has with 39 countries, out of which 27 have that agreement, open skies agreement with the United States. So Mongolia is going to fly for approximately about from the second quarter of the next year to the USA at first. We don't know when the American airlines, it's a matter of business estimation. According to Sabre Ticket Reservation International System, there were 58,000 passengers in between USA and Mongolia in 2019, just before COVID. And this amount is now just after Korea, China, Japan. So it's the fourth largest flow of international air passengers. And those people have spent total $45 million for that trip, but actually 30 million of them have gone to the airlines which fly through Seoul and Beijing. So it shows that it's a good passengers flow, which, if it is managed accordingly, it could make a good deal for Mongolia, because direct flight to any city of the US from Genghis Khan Airport in Mongolia would be 3 or 4 hours. At times it will be even 6 hours shorter than the current one. We were flying, for example, first to Korea, about 3 hours. Then from Korea, we're flying 13 hours to the Washington, D.C. And the return flight will be 15 hours. So we talk about substantial economy of money, fuel, etc. So that's why, for example, Mongolian Airlines, MIAT, is preparing for flight in between two countries. Which destination in the US is not yet clear. It is to be only one of the hubs in the States. So with that shorter time, it will be useful, profitable for the airline, whoever flies first. In case MIAT, they have now purchased or renting two large body airline, Boeing 787-800. The first one is coming in 2 weeks to Mongolia, which is already now ready, and second will be in February 2024, and it will be rent, and Mongolians captains, crew have been prepared already for this type of aircraft, and this aircraft has 246 seats, which is a bit less than the Boeing 747, but this airline is the most efficient and the fastest airline today in the world so far, because it makes different material, because it is made of different material, lighter material, and also it's very much fuel efficient. That's why Mongolian Airlines MIAT is hoping to start this line, this destination, and hopefully it will be profitable one day. So at least there is economic and political decisions already made. Agreement is signed. So hopefully the passengers will have a better possibilities to fly cheaper, faster to the United States of America. So this is the second topic I would like to highlight today. And thank you very much for watching Defacto Review for this week, and see you next week.